Today I have Geoff Benic from Safety Strips, and we were just talking about the California legislation that will impact your company. How about we start there?
Yes, thank you, and to all the viewers and people that will see and read this, welcome, and thank you for taking interest in Safety Strips Tech Corp. We're a very interesting story. I want to start first by talking about the laws that have changed and affected our business and the way business will be conducted in the state of California. As of July 1st, the state of California has passed a law that requires any establishment that serves alcohol for either on-site consumption, takeout, or any type of sale of alcohol to have readily available at the request of the consumer a date rape or what we call drink spike test kit. And what's relevant about that, again, is that this is a law. So as of July 1st, it's law. And we're one of the leaders in terms of having a great test kit that is cost-effective, very efficient, very effective, and readily available in the state of California. And we think that we're going to be very successful in California because of that law. Second of all, I do want to add as well that California typically is a trendsetter. So something that starts in California is quickly adopted based on results and all the great thinking that goes behind those laws. Then it kind of does roll out throughout the entire US, let alone North America. So we're excited about being the leader in drink spike in the state of California, supporting their law and their ambitions to reduce the harm of people being exposed to terrible drugs and consuming them without knowing them. And we want to become one of the leaders in North America thanks to this law that happened in California.
And of course, some of our audience may not be familiar with how you're going to distribute these safety strips. Can you tell us a little bit more about the logistics?
So we have a very efficient model where we're using third-party partners to be able to distribute. So folks that already have relationships. The one that I'm going to talk about is a company called Greenlane. So Greenlane has been in the non-plant touching cannabis sector of the U.S. distribution model. So what do they typically distribute today is accessories for cannabis, such as pipes, rolling paper, et cetera, et cetera. So they're calling on thousands and thousands and thousands of doors. The doors that they call on right now are typically dispensaries, but not limited to dispensaries, because they're also going to tobacco vape stores, as well as convenience stores, and believe it or not, some pharmacies. So in all, we're going to be, and sorry, and I forgot to add, very importantly, is drinking establishments as well, such as bars and liquor outlets. So we're piggybacking on the back of their distribution to be able to sell into our products, sell into their already existing network. And so that's how we're going to distribute these products, number one. Number two is we're also going to use the internet, obviously. So it's an omni-channel approach. As mentioned, Greenlane, again, I'll bring them up. So they have 5 sites that they're currently using to do sales, online sales. The sites always rank in the top 10. For sure the top 20 in terms of driving traffic. And ultimately, they do also have the fulfillment capacity and capability out of their facility in California. So that's how we're going to distribute these strips.
And what about growth issues? Because it sounds to me like you're not going to have any problems getting orders for safety strips. Can you tell me where you're manufacturing them? But can you comment on that?
Yeah, so we're manufacturing both onshore and offshore. So we have a ton of capacity. We can scale up very quickly and very cost effectively. So, a lot of this equipment does exist already in both onshore and offshore, and they're already producing at scale. The difference is going to be, the IP that goes onto these strips, the data that's used to generate the strips and the quality of the strips to be able to test for the products that we're saying that we're going to be testing for. So and that varies from fentanyl to xylene. There's a couple of them, not to mention drink spike, which is date rape. So in terms of capacity to be able to manufacture these, we have a really well thought out approach at being able to do these onshore and offshore at scale, cost effectively, and very efficiently.
So that leads me to my next question. Having reviewed your background, and I always tell investors, do your due diligence, look up the CEOs and see what they've accomplished in their life. You've been a very successful entrepreneur. What was the catalyst or what motivated you to move into this sector?
So, for those of you that may not know my background, my roots, I was once, believe it or not, a professional hockey player, cup of coffee as a pro. And ultimately what I saw was a lot of my friends, a lot of friends that I played with, played against, unfortunately, we're really starting to suffer from, all types of ailments. Either they had post-traumatic stress that they were dealing with. They had, sleep issues, pain issues, and believe it or not, eating disorders. So a lot of them, unfortunately, got hooked on opiates and got hooked on drugs that were just not healthy for them. And for whatever reason, they were being prescribed to them. And I just knew that there was a better way. And when it really became unfortunate was when these drugs started taking their lives. And I knew there was a better way. And so essentially in 2018, I got involved very early in a cannabis company, as I really thought that cannabis was a way to be able to take some of these folks and my friends and colleagues and whatnot off some of these opiates that were toxic and addictive and obviously not good for you and killing them, and looked at an alternative for these opiates through the use of cannabis. So I ran a company called Alethea, which was 2018 TSX Venture Company of the Year across all channels for all the right reasons: liquidity, volume, dollars traded, et cetera, et cetera. We did a really good job getting the story out, but what was more importantly, we were really great at creating the formulations and the opportunities to be able to get some of these folks off the opiates and save some lives. As you can imagine, opiates are very highly addictive, and as we really tried hard to get a lot of these people off these drugs and save these lives, unfortunately, a lot of them had relapses, went back to them. And what happened was that these drugs became more and more toxic. And I say more and more toxic, they became more laced with things such as fentanyl and xylene. And I just saw it as unbelievable that how many people were dying, let alone I had a family member, a very close family member that passed due to fentanyl. And I took it upon myself to find a solution, and the solution was out there. And for those of you that may or may not know, as of October of 2023, these test strips that we're pitching, that we're out there trying to get the awareness on, that are campaigning on saving lives, were once considered drug paraphernalia, and you would go to jail if you had these strips found on you, because it was the equivalent of consuming an illegal drug. Luckily, under the Biden administration, they decided to decriminalize these, and as of today, there's 48 states right now, and only a handful left that are still considering these drug paraphernalia and are still considered illegal. But people started seeing the value of how they saved lives, and I just became a crusader in here, and I saw the tremendous opportunity. And what I really saw was that, it was very fragmented, really focused on the unhoused folks, unfortunately, living on the street. When I thought that was a big problem, but the bigger problem was dealing with folks that don't know anything about fentanyl, don't understand how it can kill you, have never consumed fentanyl, and the minute they do, just have a little speck of it, will die. And I just thought that there was a tremendous opportunity for me to go out there and save lives at scale. So what does scale mean? So to be able to be at scales, you have to have manufacturing at scale. You have to have distribution at scale. You have to have awareness at scale. And those are the things that we're doing to save lives. And that's how I got involved.
Geoff, thank you so much for joining us today. And for those of you interested in learning more about safety strips, please go to the following website. Thank you, Geoff.
Thank you.